At the weekend, up in Scotland, there was a proper world title fight. Before it started, I thought it was 50-50. Anyway, have a look at this. This was our Ricky, our Rickster, Ricky Burns, the weekend. 6,500, genuinely sold out. I tell you what, you could feel it. Have a look at this. There's Ricky coming together. You know what, before this fight, and I'm going to say it now, it's no good trying to make out you're wise and clever. I thought this was about a 50-50 fight. I looked at Paulus Moses, who's the Namibian there, taking a bit of stick, and I thought, well, OK, I know he got beat by Acosta and it was a little bit odd. He sat on the floor, he was exhausted, had some personal problems, but I still thought he was going to give Ricky problems. He's got a fantastic jab, he whips up a lovely uppercut, he throws a big loose right, he throws a big heavy left hook. Ricky just boxed brilliantly. It was, as Anthony Crolla, who did a brilliant job, British lightweight champion, working with myself and Jim Rosenthal. It was a masterclass. And it's no good afterwards saying it wasn't and saying, oh, I knew he'd win comfortably. He won, in my opinion, just about every round. Perhaps, if you're kind, you give Moses a share of one of the rounds. Perhaps. That was a masterclass. And unless you were online, unless you tweeted, unless there's evidence where you say, hand up, it's going to be 120 points to Ricky Burns and 108 or 109 to Moses, it doesn't matter, because that's the sort of fight it was. You can't become wise after the event. Now, the man who masterminded that, and I mean more than masterminded that, because Ricky doesn't watch any footage or any videos, DVDs or old film of the people he's fighting. He leaves it all to this man. And I'm delighted to say that I'm joined on the line now by Ricky's trainer, Billy Nelson. Good evening, Billy.
Good evening.
Bill, first and foremost, I've got to ask you this, and I didn't think I'd be asking you this. Did you think it would be made to look as easy as it was?
Not really, no. We knew Moses was a really difficult opponent, but Ricky Burns can make really good fighters look basic.
And that's exactly what happened the other night. And there seemed to be a point after about 2 or 3 rounds, and it seemed that early in the fight, Billy, when Moses appeared to have run out of ideas after less than 10 minutes of boxing.
I think you're spot on. I've seen a change in his ambition.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Definitely.
Now, when you're in the corner with Ricky, Billy, and I'm quite intrigued by this, after about 7 or 8 rounds, was he asking to maybe up the pace and go for Moses, and were you pulling him back, or does he always just stay calm?
No, not at all. What he was doing was working, so there's no need to change what he was doing. His jab is fantastic, as you know, Steve.
Sure.
Everything basically went to plan. You know, he can implement a plan.
He just did it. I mean, there was nothing. I mean, I'm trying to think, and I looked at it and I watched a bit of it again. It was like he didn't put anything wrong, and he made. And as Anthony Crolla, who was fantastic working with us and was full of praise, as he said, he made a really good fighter look below average. Now that's a skill, that's a quality. So that aside, Billy, I know it's only 70, 80 hours since the fight, but if you could have a little pre-Christmas present, which fight would you select for Ricky next, if you had the choice, Billy?
If I had the choice, I'd like to fight Brandon Rios, because people say he's the number one at lightweight, but I think he's absolutely tailor-made for Ricky Burns. Failing that, I mean, there's a big fight potentially with Kevin Mitchell. But, I think Kevin's got to prove that he's a world-class fighter still. And would you like...
So you're saying in an ideal world, you'd like to see Kevin in some kind of, eliminator or even unofficial eliminator?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you look at his record, the best fighter, or the two best fighters he's fought is Prescott, which he done extremely well with,
yeah,
and John Murray.
Sure.
So yeah, I think he's got a wee bit to prove, but if the fight happens, there's only going to be one winner, and I think Kevin knows that himself.
Well, let's leave that who will win and who wouldn't win aside. Now, I see one problem with any fights for Ricky in the next few months, and that's getting married. I'm nothing against getting married. I've been married myself for an awful long time, and I've loved every second of it. Why everyone seems to be laughing in my ears? I do. I've loved every second of it, Bill. But no, quite seriously. But he's getting married in late April, so I'm assuming if he gets married in late April, that makes it the sort of 1st of May when he gets back to Scotland. If he has 11-week training camp, that takes him right into the middle of almost into the middle of the Olympics. How are you going to get around that, or is he not going to fight until October or September?
Well, you're assuming that the fight's going to be in London, aren't you? Why not bring up this?
I'm assuming the fight will be anywhere. I mean, if he's going away on the 20th of April and we're on already the 12th of March, he's not going to fight before the 20th of April. And if he comes back on the 1st of May and he trains for 11 weeks, that takes us up into the middle of July. The Olympics are about to start. I mean, I suppose he could fight in Scotland, but you wouldn't go against the Olympics on any night. That's what I'm thinking. I don't think anybody's going against the Olympics. That's what I meant.
Well, if and when Ricky fights again, I'm sure. I would imagine it'll be the end of July, possibly August now, because of the wedding.
Okay.
He's getting married to Amanda in Mexico, so he's got that to look forward to. And it gives him a good rest as well. And
I mean,
he can look forward to the challenges.
There is a 2-week gap between the end of the European Championships at the start of July and about the 23rd or 24th of July when the Olympics start. So potentially there's a 3-week window there. And it could be anywhere then. It doesn't have to be London, doesn't have to be Scotland, could be anywhere.
Well, that's right. Well, that's really down to Ricky, Frank Warren and Alec Morrison.
Sure.
To decide, when we're going to fight again. If it's mid-July, any time mid-July or get to the end of July or August, we'll be ready for who we're going to fight next.
Listen, I know you will, because you certainly get them ready. And also, Bill, well done on all the other fighters. You seem to be in the corner all the time, and they all seem to be winning. Thanks very much, Billy Nelson there. Thanks very much, Billy. Good. Give our best to Ricky. As I say, people from different newspapers were texting and calling me today and speaking to me. They were trying to get hold of Ricky today, but he was working in a sports shop. He was working at 10 o'clock, I think, until 3 o'clock in the afternoon shift. You could not invent it, even if you tried. So.